Hey guys, welcome back to Marcus's Magic Reviews. Today on the review, we have Brass Buttons Silver Edition by Matthew Wright and Mark Southworth. Okay, so Brass Buttons by Matthew Wright, Mark Southworth. What do you get in the package? Well, you're gonna get, a box. Mine wasn't the nicest box. Mine kind of came a little bit, stomped up. And then it kind of had this kind of like a little silver edition sticker on it. So not the fanciest of boxes, that's for sure. You're going to receive the instructions that comes on a little tiny square card, easy access, good quality. The instructions are really, for what you pay here, really you get a lot of the meat of that right back in these instructions. You're also going to get a 5-piece set. Now you want to call these coins or buttons or objects, it doesn't matter what you call it. You're going to get 5 pieces. You're going to get a regular washer, a regular button, a regular poker chip or poker guard, so not quite the same, but most people call them poker chips. And you're also going to receive the gimmick. What is Brass Buttons gonna set you back financially? Luckily, it's not too much of a hit at all, and for what you get, it's more than worth it. Brass Buttons can be picked up at your local magic retailer or online at Murphy's Magic, Vanishing Ink, Penguin Magic for the very low cost of $39.95 USD. And I do say that's a very low cost because for what you get here and the quality of these items, it's a pretty good bargain. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the pros with Brass Buttons Silver Edition. Pro number 1, these things look great and they feel amazing in your hands. They're not these cheap little objects. There's some weight behind them. They look very good to the eye. Spectators are never gonna pick anything suspicious out about the gimmicks in any way. And I think that at the end of the day, the gimmick and next to the regular objects also matches up very, very well. Pro number 2, you're going to get instructions from some of the top minds in magic. The instructions alone are worth the price of this project. Trust me, you've probably seen this in reviews for Brass Buttons already, that the instructions are well worth the cost of the project. I agree. I've watched them probably a few times just to try to absorb everything I can. There's some great subtleties. There's a lot of great roustining that you can kind of mix and match and take from here and take from there. The top minds in magic. I mean, you got Javier's in there. You got Nicholas Lawrence, Craig Petty, Matthew Wright, Roddy McGee. I mean, Roddy McGee is awesome. I mean, he's awesome in everything. And really, just the quality of the instructions alone and the content, what you get, the insights, it's well worth it. Pro number 3, there's a little bit of something for everybody in Brass Buttons. Whether you're trying to do like visual eye pop magic, maybe you're looking for some kind of, like a coins across routine. Maybe you are actually doing some kind of mental routine, like a psychic routine of some kind. Nicholas Lawrence offers something into that degree. So a lot of everything for everybody. You should be able to find something in this project that works for you. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the cons here as well, because there are a couple cons in my opinion. So con number 1, sometimes the paint on these items, like the button or the washer, maybe the gimmick itself, can chip or get damaged with use over time. Now, in the instructions, Matthew Wright likes to say that he's happy for this to happen. He thinks it gives it more authenticity to the items, which may be true in some people's eyes. When I look at it, I like to keep my things as intact as possible. I don't like things damaged or ruined. I'm very gentle with my items, and if you're gentle with your items as well, then you shouldn't have too many problems. I've been working with Brass Buttons Silver Edition for a little while now, and I've done some good routening with it and lots of practicing and performing. And my items don't really have a lot of damage on them at all. Maybe a couple little nicks here or there. But when you see some of the gimmicks and the buttons and the coins with some of the instructors, they do look a little bit more banged up. Like I said, if you take care of your things, it should last you. I do have a little tip with especially with the button and the washer as well. Believe it or not, but I use like a glossy spray coating, a protective coating. It's like something you would use on miniatures, like painted miniatures, to seal it so that the paint doesn't chip off. I gave the button and the washer a good little spray over a couple times and let it dry, and I haven't had any issues with nicking or damage. So it worked for me. If you like your items to be immaculate and not have too much damage or wear on them, then you might find that tip to be useful for you as well. Okay, con number 2, not really much of a con, but at first when you use these, if you are performing, the gimmick can make a little bit of noise when you're kind of moving around and you're trying to do different moves or slights. You can get some noise out of the gimmick. Now, during a performance, I've never really had anything come up or anybody say anything because there is a lot of going on. So maybe that little bit of noise that I hear, I'm picking it out because I'm hearing it and I know what I'm hearing. For an audience member, they might not know, they don't know, and so they might not, it might not be that big of a deal for them, but it is something worth noting here. My last con is that the washer itself is not a real washer. You know, if you're doing this effect for anybody who might work in construction or works with washers, they're going to know right away that this is not a real washer. This is not the way washers feel, and they're typically not painted. But I get away with that by saying it's a dollar store washer, this cheap little dollar store washer. No one's ever said anything. No one questions it. But it might pop up one day if you do something for a handyman and you hand him this washer and he says, and you know, that's not a washer, laughs at it or something like that and makes a little joke. It's possible. Okay guys, we've come to the end of the review, and that means it's time for the 5-star segment. Where is Brass Buttons Silver Edition going to land in the 5 stars? And I'm giving Brass Buttons by Matthew Wright and Mark Southworth 4.7 out of 5. That is good for a gold medal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just one of those products that has a little bit for everybody. It's visual, it can be mental or psychic or hypnotic. You can go in many different performance directions with this. The quality of the items is very good. Nothing kind of stands out as an eyesore, nothing that would attract attention. Everything kind of blends in together, which is exactly what you want. But if you're like me and you like your items immaculate and you don't like too much damage and you like too much wear, a little bit of paint chipping or something to that degree could, you know, take away a little bit of excitement here, which is why I docked just a few points, landing it at 4.7. That's a gold medal. Ladies and gentlemen, Brass Buttons. Join us next time for another magic review.